Добрий день. А підкажіть, будь ласка, а Гаррі там?
Може Гаррі?
Гаррі, є.
Да, воно.
Отам, да?
Да.
Ага, окей, дякую.
I like cows. They're quiet. They don't make a lot of noise. They're generally easy to work with.
We came here 16 years ago. I was a very successful farmer in Canada. Kinds of cheese that are common in Ukraine aren't very common in Canada. Canada, the average cow gives 35 to 40 liters of milk every day. 2007, we came the first time. Everybody who lived there, they all spoke Ukrainian. Is forbidden. You can't sell that. Yes. Villages, people have more money than people in the city.
We've built most of this since in the last 10 years. Самый большая корова.
Тож, представлю вам містера Гаррі. Містер Гаррі, hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to have visitors in the village.
First of all, I want to ask you why you came right in Ukraine.
I was a very successful farmer in Canada. My children were becoming of age to work on the farm themselves, and I felt a responsibility to try to make the world a better place.
You think the Ukraine is a better place?
No, I wanted to make it a better place, or at least better for some people.
About history of this place.
Of course, yes. We attended a Mennonite or a church in Canada that had been started by Mennonite people, and so I knew the Mennonite history in Ukraine quite well.
Personally, you have some connection with Mennonites?
No, really not. Just friends who are Mennonite. In fact, I have a friend in Canada whose great-grandparents used to live in this village.
Нагадаю глядачам, що ми знаходимося в селі Миколайполе, і це село це одна з частин території, яка була заселена менонітами. And could you clarify why you choose
Ukraine?
Not Ukraine, Mykolaipole village.
I had an opportunity to come to Ukraine and teach English in the summertime. And my wife and I thought it'll be a good opportunity to see if we felt like we could move here. Yeah, so when we visited this village the first time, we saw all the cows. And we understood that these were not very good cows. No, they give very little milk. They don't get fed very well. So we thought we could come to this village. We'll start our own little farm with some good cows and help the people in the village be more profitable with their cows.
Mm-hmm. Exists some kind of difference in farming in Canada or farming in Ukraine? In this case, some kind of how to say kind of cows, kind of
yes
soil.
Yeah. So in Canada, our cows are all purebred. They produce a lot of milk. In Canada, the average cow gives 35 to 40 liters of milk every day. In Ukraine, when we came here, it was like 7 or 8 liters per cow per day. So there was a huge difference. And a lot of it was just because the cows were fed not correctly, and because they were just not good genetics.
How did you solve this problem?
So we started, we brought semen from bulls from Canada. I would breed people's cows, artificially inseminate people's cows in the village. We would grow good quality feed for our cows. We planted alfalfa, grew corn silage. And so we could show people, here's Ukrainian cows in our barn. They're giving 25 liters of milk on average every day. And your cows are giving 7 or 10 liters, Here's what you could do. Do it, feed your cows like we're doing, and maybe you'll make more, your cows will be more profitable. And I could breed their cows to good quality semen so that the next generation of cows would be better.
Did you feel some obstacles starting?
Sure, of course.
Dairy business.
Old lady who lived in this house called the police when we started building the barn because she said it's not legal to build a barn there. So we called the police and said the lady next door is making vodka and selling it to the people on the street. And so we solved our problem.
It was in the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, in the
In
beginning.
the beginning, and
Yeah. Now everybody in the village understands that we're here to help. So whenever anybody in the village would have a medical emergency, they would knock on my door, say, Gary, can I borrow 1,000 hryvnia because my son needs to go to the hospital? Gary, can you fix the roof on our house? Gary, can you breed my cows tonight? Gary, can you help me with my garden? And so we would help people. Every opportunity we had, we would help.
The local people, native people, understand this.
Now everybody knows if they knock on Oleg's door here, if he can help them, he's going to.
I have heard that you rebuilt or how to say fix the church in this.
Yeah. So me and other Mennonite heritage people rebuilt helped remodel the church in the village. We've helped fix the school some. We've also rebuilt many houses in this village.
You support many humanitarian projects here.
Sure. Yep.
And the local government is support you.
Now we have no problem at all with the local government. The Gramada, we cooperate with them all the time, and they help us.
We're talking about Mennonites heritage. You told me that you have some connection with Mennonites, but your roots not from.
Yeah,
Mennonites.
my roots are with the Dutch people in Holland who chased the Mennonites out of the country, unfortunately.
I know you have for us exotic surname.
Oh, Verhoog.
Verhoog. How it's pronounced?
Yeah, in Dutch we would say Verhoog.
Verhoog.
In English we would say Verhoog.
Verhoog. And your ancestors came in Canada from Dutch?
Yep, from Holland.
From Holland.
So my mother's family came in 1920. My father's family came about 1950, after the war.
Maybe in the past, many Ukrainians moved, relocate to Canada.
Yes.
And nowadays, you Canadian people return.
In Canada, my children go to Shevchenko High School.
Shevchenko High School?
Yes. So in Canada, we often name our schools after famous people.
You know about Ukrainian heritage in Canada?
Of course, yeah. Yeah. That small village, everybody who lived there 30 or 40 years ago, they all spoke Ukrainian. And in that high school now, they teach Ukrainian language. And
in your city, native city, exists some kind of Ukrainian community?
Sure, yeah. And so where my farm is, it's all French people. But you only need to go about 30 kilometers, and the next village was settled by Ukrainian people. When you live here in Ukraine, you feel some difference in mental and in. I think our expectation of for the future is different. Yeah, I think in Ukraine people don't expect anything really good in the future. Just to survive another year. Live one day. Yeah. I have heard in Canada exists some kind of equal level of life in a village and in a city. Yeah. It's true, yeah? Of course, yeah. Often villages, people have more money than people in the city. The poor people in Canada mostly live in the city. In the city? Yeah. The more wealthier people live outside of the city, it's considered to be more safe in the smaller towns. The schools are often better in the smaller towns.
But in Canada, not exist village in a meaning like in Ukraine. Yeah,
My village has 10 houses.
10 houses.
Yeah.
It's some kind of hutor in Ukraine. It's a very small village.
Yeah. The small villages, it's often you can have a larger house on a larger piece of land than you can in the city. And so people like to, if they have a family, they like to live in the smaller towns and villages because there's more open space and it's more comfortable. And our villages are so much different than they are in Ukraine. Like a village this size in Canada would have a nice store, a restaurant, a gas station inside of town. If it didn't have a school, it would have good transportation to a school. And so village life is very different here. But everybody in Canada, or most people in Canada, we have cars. We drive to town and we buy what we need.
Could you remind me from what province?
Manitoba.
Manitoba, and what city?
we live a long ways from any cities. We live in a small village called Saint Lob, which was settled by French people about 1930 or so.
I heard you support children here in the village.
Sure. We do what we can. We've helped with the school, and of course we have lots of children. We have 6 children in our program now, sort of the children of the students that we have
And you
here.
personally support 6 children, yeah? Here.
I personally support 25 here.
Cool,
But
that's
our farm does now. So now our farm makes enough money to support everybody. So we have 25 young people and children here.
You
And
feel some kind not pressure, or you feel some exhausted?
no. I still have lots of energy, but my bones aren't very good. So I've had several operations, and so physically I'm not so strong.
But you're in a good shape.
Yeah,
Maybe.
but not like I was.
Probably your goals, your job give you energy.
Yeah, and it's being able to, to build something is always sort of exciting for me. I get a lot of energy from being able to build something.
I know you make different type of cheese.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So several years ago, Oleg and his wife joined our project here, and they started producing different kinds of cheese from the milk that we produced already.
I interrupt you. What inspired you to make cheese?
Cheese. It wasn't me. I've made cheese in Canada before I came.
Oh, you
here.
have experience.
Yeah, so I experimented with it, and it's sort of interesting to do, but I never had the opportunity or the ability really to do it very much in Ukraine. And to be able to sell, like it's one thing to make something; it's another thing to be able to sell it. So Oleg's wife took some classes to learn how to make cheese. And we built the cheese processing facility. And they gradually started making more types of cheese. And now we're selling maybe 5 to 6 tons of our own milk every week now. And it's been profitable, and it's given jobs to so many people. So now there's 10 people who work full-time making cheese. Many of them are refugees that are living in the village. And so for me, every time we have the chance to give more jobs to people in Ukraine now, it's very important because it's how people need to survive here.
Yeah, and it support local economy.
Yeah, yep. I think that's one reason we've have a good relationship with Gramada here too. They know that we're helping support the local economy.
And what is your favorite type of cheese? You have some?
Yeah, the kinds of cheese that are common in Ukraine aren't very common in Canada.
I know it's a cottage cheese. Yeah.
Yeah. In Ukraine, cottage cheese is very, very common. In Canada, I mostly eat Gouda.
Don't not exist
Oh, yeah. Of course, we have cottage cheese in Canada too.
a little.
But no, it's quite common, but it's different than the cottage cheese
Why?
here. So our cottage cheese in Canada is the curds mixed with fresh cream, and it's sweet or sweeter than the cottage cheese here.
Because of milk type,
No, just because of how it's processed.
how it's processed.
Yeah, we add fresh cream back to the curds after they're made.
You separate and
Yeah,
then
so it's just a different process, and like everything we eat, we get used to what we had before. And so when I came to Ukraine and tried their cheese, their cottage cheese, I didn't like it. It's more acidic and it's not sweet like our cottage
acidic
cheese.
and sometimes salt.
Yeah. So now I like it. I'm used to it, and I enjoy the cheese here.
And you know about some kind of cheese brinza.
Brinza, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never had that in Canada, but if I have the opportunity to get it here, yeah, they take it and they fry it. Oh, it's very good.
Fry it in Canada.
I like that type of
I
cheese.
know. Have you heard about Iran? It's a milk drink.
No,
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 Iran tan. Maybe you saw in a market.
no.
Iran
No.
is some
So-
kind of kefir.
Okay, well, we make kefir
Yeah.
here. Yeah, we sell maybe 500 liters of kefir every week.
Exists some difference from kefir in Canada and in Ukraine?
I don't know. I don't eat it. I've always lived on a farm. I've always had opportunity to drink all the fresh milk I want. And so I like fresh milk, and that's what I drink.
Fresh milk
Yeah.
without any.
Without anything else.
Northern Canada, fresh milk forbidden to sail for sailing.
Oh, yeah, fresh milk that isn't processed is forbidden. You can't sell that. Yes.
Only pasteurized.
Yeah, only pasteurized. But I live on a farm, so I can drink my own milk. It's not a problem.
One of my friends live in USA.
Mm-hmm.
It's a neighbor,
Yep.
Canada, and he told me exists fresh milk, but in a pet store,
Okay.
and he makes some kind of life hack.
Oh, yeah.
He have found in a pet store and drinks this milk.
To be honest, we have a few people who come to our farm in Canada, and we sell them some fresh milk, but we tell them that it's for their cat.
For the cat, yeah.
Yes.
Life hack.
Because if we give the milk for their cat, well, it's not a
It's
problem.
not a problem. Yeah. Positive moments in Ukraine. What you observe,
Mhm.
maybe experience.
I think for me, one of the amazing things that I can do is for a little bit of money, I can change people's lives. One day there was a bad accident in our village. A young boy was hurt badly. I gave his mother 10,000 hryvnia, and they took him to the hospital and they fixed him. Without that money, maybe he wouldn't be walking today. I get children here who are 18 years old who've are already addicted to alcohol and maybe some drugs, and I've seen their lives change. So now they're 25 or 30 years old. They're married. They have a family. They're working. They're not drinking anymore. They're not taking drugs anymore, and they're living good lives. And so for me, that's what can be better than to change somebody's life. And so for me, that's why I'll keep coming back to this village as long as I'm able to.
Yeah.
Most of us never have that opportunity. I was very fortunate to get into the business I did, to be able to make a good profit, and so that I could spend the last 15 years of my life not having to make money, not having to have a job, being able to spend my time just helping people.
You feel that you better example how to live for native, for local people,
Oh,
how to manage their life.
I think everybody's lives are so different, and everybody has different opportunities to do things. I don't want to say that I'm a great example of anything. I'm just somebody who's doing something that they had the ability to do and the opportunity to do. Nothing more.
As I noticed, I saw that many young people work and
Yeah.
help you.
Yeah.
You gave them a job.
Yeah. They're mostly orphan. They're almost all orphan kids.
It's a part of your support
Yeah.
for these kids, yeah? And how is this work to help them to adaptate, to get more healthy?
In the village,
Useful.
they have good support. So they really don't drink very much. They don't. Some of them smoke, some of them don't. But they know when they live here that there's somebody who cares about them. And I think they understand that when they live in the village here, that they'll be safe, and if there's some kind of problem, there's somebody here that can help them. We encourage if the girls and boys, if they want to get married, we encourage them to get married. We've had several weddings in the village here. If they get married, we'll find a house for them to live in.
Did you feel you get some success in your job, in your charitable work here?
Yeah. I see so many people's lives changed.
You see results?
Yeah. Yep. We saw very few results for several years, but now we have a church in the village with 30 or 40 people attending every Sunday.
And
We have programs during the week for the young people in the village. But if I could say anything, I would say try not to live your life for yourself. Try to live your life as much as possible for other people. Because the more you help other people, the more you end up helping yourself. So it'll change the way you think, it'll change the way you act, it'll change the way you live your life. And so do whatever you can to help people. I see Ukrainians like they're the kindest people I've ever met in the world for wild animals. In Ukraine, the old ladies with no money, they feed the dog. They go to the store, they buy one hot dog for themselves and one for the dog outside. But I'm not sure Ukrainian people care about each other as much. So be kind to each other, help each other as much as you can. Be kind with the way you drive your car. Ukrainians are the worst mannered car drivers I've ever met in my life.
yeah,
They chase people off the road. I was driving to Dnipro a couple days ago, and somebody was driving very fast down the highway, and there was another man driving his car not so fast and didn't see him coming, and the car pulled up behind him very quickly, and he saw them there. He flashed his lights, he pulled over. The other car passed him, pulls over in front of him, and slams on his brakes. And then the man tries to get out of his way, goes in front of them again to stop him. And they did that for a few minutes, and then finally he drove off fast.
too many black sheeps. Many
I-
people is a good people, but
yeah. You know, so I've never seen that happen in Canada, and I've seen that happen many times in Ukraine. Just be kind with the way you drive your car. The world is a hard enough place to live with. You know, it's a simple thing.
I want to ask you, state, is state could affect in a life of people, or people could themselves make their life?
I'm not sure the government can do a whole lot to make people's lives that much better. You know, of course, if we have good roads and good schools, all those things help. But I've met so many really kind and helpful and loving people in Ukraine who don't want to move to Canada or America. They're happy living in Ukraine. They do, you know, and they're wonderful. So there's little things the state can do to help people, but mostly people need to change from the inside.